Hey, deserving listeners, Love is Blind. Let's check it out.
Got you, babe. I love being able to call you babe. You're my baby. You're my baby, Kate.
You my baby boo.
I love it. I'm like so confident in our connection. If you feel like going back and relaxing, I want you to know that like that's okay with me too. You don't have to like be here just to be here. That's just how confident I feel in our connection.
Okay. So to catch you up, Nick likes Kate and Annie. And I obviously can't read people's minds, but the way that Nick in the edit acts is either goofy and or fake. I can't tell. I hope that he's just goofy, but at the very least we can see from the edit, we never know if there's shenanigans, but he just got out of his date, in the edit anyway, with Annie, and Annie doesn't have Nick as her number one. It's Annie likes Brendan. Annie, I think, is going to be with Brendan because the way she talks about Brendan, and I don't think we've seen Brendan with anyone else, but she talks about him as like soulmate kind of thing. I will say that Annie also is pretty goofy, although I obviously can't read people's minds, but although I don't know, there's a certain vibe that we typically see. So how do I put this? There's three different possibilities. One is that they're just trying to get to the next phase. That happens. And there are probably some people that we would never know that they were doing that because they don't give off hints that they're faking to get to the next level. You know, that happens sometimes. We know from the showrunners that they have identified those people. Like a real stark data point is that there was a couple, I think during the Seattle season 4, that got engaged, but the showrunners thought they weren't serious and didn't invite them to the rest of the show. And then that couple promptly broke up soon after leaving the pods. If they were really engaged, you wouldn't think. Now, it's possible, once they met in person that things flew apart, but it just had that, look to them. And anyway, so we know that happens sometimes, unfortunately. And the way that Nick presents it, if he is being genuine, so the three possibilities is fake. The other is that he's genuine and he's just kind of goofy. The other is that he's sort of like that guy that we saw from that one season. Was it the UK or he was anyway? But that he's genuine, but he's so immature and inexperienced. There's nothing wrong with being immature, by the way. If you haven't dated a lot, or you've just taken a while to grow up, or you don't want to grow up, whatever, because you're a Toys R Us kid. And so there's a possibility that they're not fake, he's being genuine, and he's just in love. The other possibility is that he's not faking, he's genuine, but he's so immature or goofy or not really understanding the situation that he's playing house in a sense. And I think we've seen that on the show before. I'm trying to remember, it was like a Sam and that absolutely could happen, right? That someone thinks that they are feeling all the feelings. They don't really know I can't remember his name, but do you remember watching, maybe you didn't watch that season with me, but the guy, after meeting her in the hallway, he says, "I think I might love you." And it's like, you're engaged. You think you love the person. Now, that's okay. And everyone thought, oh, he's faking it. But then later on, it kind of looked like it hit him when she broke up with him. And it seems like, oh, wait, so was he genuine, but just not really, because if you had a 10-year-old on Love is Blind, which would obviously be unethical, but if you did, you could imagine that 10-year-old being like, yeah, I'm in love, I want to get married to this person. And then you enter the real world and, they just didn't really know what they needed. They didn't really know what they were signing up for. But in the moment, they were being genuine. So I don't know what's going on with Nick, but there's a possibility he's genuine and I'm just not vibing with him. But the jokes that he says, but Annie is eating it up. This is Kate. He doesn't joke around with Kate as much. We haven't seen them. But the way Annie and Nick talk, the sexual, and I was going to say innuendos, but sometimes it's literally not innuendo. They're telling each other that they're getting worked up, and they're like, okay, well, think about me when you masturbate tonight. I mean, they didn't say the word masturbate, but they're basically saying that. When you take care of yourself tonight, think of me, that kind of thing. And that's fine. That's great. That's, you're dating and sex. But the way that they did it, maybe that's it, is like, there are certain things that, innocent bystanders like yours truly, I love that people are loving, but I don't want to watch it. Or there's a line or something. But I don't know. So I can't tell what's happening. And I'm saying all this because I'm guessing what eventually happens, or at least beyond this point. And sometimes it's interesting to just get someone's take when they don't know what's going to happen. I'm probably wrong, or one of the options is somewhat right. The other thing is that he's a luxury watch dealer, Nick, which gives us that echo of like Leo, right? I think I already mentioned that. But anyway, so now, at least in the edit, what we're seeing is that Nick just got out of a date with Annie where they were basically seeming on the verge of at least him proposing, or at least him saying to Annie, "You're my number one." He was saying everything aside from that. And then he is with Kate, and he's using the same language. And the way he says it lacks authenticity. Maybe it is authentic, but it doesn't seem authentic from the outside. It's playful in this kind of gross way to me. Now, the women are liking it. Annie likes it. So, it doesn't matter what I think about it. But I think we're supposed to believe that Nick is either a fuckboy, or he's manipulative, or he's immature, or he's faking, or he is keeping his options open in an unethical, a lot of them keep their options open, but there's a way to do it that doesn't give people the wrong idea. Now, Annie, I don't think is going to be that hurt, because Annie has Brendan as her number one. So maybe it all's well that ends well. I don't know.
Like, Nick would just be like, oh, my girl, went home to sleep. Like, you wouldn't doubt me for a second.
I wouldn't.
I truly, truly love that about our relationship, that we're, so secure and, confident in each other, and just, happy and, just vibing.
I love that. And I love you, Kate.
Maybe it's genuine, but it's coming out weird. It's different. Not what I expect, but a lot of things don't happen. And I will remind myself that last season, I thought that Daniel and Taylor, who were the only ones that got married and stay married, actually, they were the only ones that got married at all last season. And I thought that, at the very least, Taylor wasn't that into Daniel, but it turns out she was. So what do I know?
I don't say that lightly. I never have, ever before. But I am so in love with you and in love with your soul. And I just have to get that off my chest. I'm out here and I'm putting that out there, and I'm saying it right now.
If the edit is somewhat accurate, and if he is being genuine, then he either is very flip-floppy with his number ones and his love, or he's not responsible when he talks to Annie, because the way he was talking with her, this doesn't really match up with that. It could be edited funny, though. We don't know.
I can honestly say that. I'm throwing that out there. I just dropped the L-bomb. I do love you, Kate.
I'm speechless.
You know what I mean? I think maybe it's because there have been examples of this in the past, but the way that people talk when they take that leap and they say that, there's so much at stake for us human beings who aren't faking it. Your entire future, your entire life, everything is being risked by taking that leap and admitting that to yourself and telling the other person. Because the love word is frequently, if not always, a predecessor to at least the hope of a proposal, and then engagement, marriage, that kind of thing. So to say that, there's so much weight, and the amount of emphasis and the focus that they have in these pods really amplifies it. But we probably don't need the pods to if you've ever been in love before, it's a big deal. So when people say it, there's a physicality to it. There's crying, they pace, they get giddy, there's energy around it. And there's also fear, because if you're going to disclose that, especially given that Kate, at least on the surface, doesn't see it in the edit, doesn't seem to be hinting at that. If Kate had been saying, oh, I hope you say the L word or something. There hasn't been that in the edit anyway. But the way he just says it, he's just like, yeah, it's the way that you would inform someone that, yes, you would like to meet up next Saturday and go on a hike. Now, some people are feeling authentic. They have all the normal feelings. It just looks a little strange to a third-party stranger from the outside. But everything's coming together to make this look like there's at least shenanigans on his part, because we just saw him with Annie. That doesn't mean he can't, he could be flirting with someone, but really in love with someone else. There's a lot happening. They're all dating multiple people, but I don't know. There's just something kind of weird that I'm picking. But I don't know. You probably know. Do you know? And don't answer that question in the comments, because I don't want it spoiled. 1, 2, you don't want to spoil it for other people that haven't watched ahead or watched the show at all. Or use the spoiler techniques, right? Where there's a way to do it or to bury it, use those techniques.
I don't think that comes as a surprise hearing you say that, because I feel like you just couldn't resist,
I couldn't.
And I'll just say this once and regret it later and never say it again, that I don't know if there's something about this batch of dudes, or there's something about Denver or Colorado or something, but there's something kind of off. Now, I could see a scenario where, as they're recruiting, because Denver's not a huge city, and there's not a lot of there is a greater Denver area population, but it's not gigantic. And I'm hearing that a lot of the people that are on the show are from hours away, and like in Seattle, we have a bigger, I think, metropolitan population than Denver does, but they couldn't find enough people, and so they pulled people from Portland, which is a ways away, and so it's possible that they had to take what they could get or something. I don't know. Like maybe they have a way of trying to screen out people that aren't necessarily serious or don't have the kind of markers of that, and so when they're trying to put a show together and they're extending the radius, they are like, okay, we got to accept those people and take a chance on them or something. Anyway, I don't know, but there seems to be something about some of the guys, a theme of, I don't know what it is. There's a certain thing going on. But when I think about it, in previous seasons, I'm probably just reacting to recency bias. And no shade on Denver at all. We can't generalize at all. So, but is there something going on in Colorado?
You take that, you go home tonight, you rest up, and I'll be thinking about you.
You better not be thinking about anyone else.
You're my person. Will you let me fight for you?
Absolutely. That's hot.
I'm gonna fight for you, Kate. I'm gonna fight for you through the very...
Do you know what I mean? It seems like 12-year-olds that are trying to act like they know how to talk in romantic situations. Even her, Kate. I mean, I would say much less for her, because we just haven't seen much. But, and I guess she has to work with what she's getting, but would you let me fight? Fight what? What are you fighting, Nick? You just got done talking about masturbating and thinking about Annie, and then you're telling her, different vibe for sure, but this, I don't know. What are you fighting, Nick? Who's the enemy? What, maybe, and he has a lot of these kinds of phrases. Like earlier he said something like, she said, I think I'm falling in love with you too. And he's like, yeah, that's why you get with me. It's like he's watching too many 90s movies or something and doesn't understand what the phrases mean. Now, he could be genuine. He could be a great guy. He could just be goofy. And I like goofy people. If he's genuine and he's goofy, then 2 thumbs up. But is something going on here? There's just some, I don't know. There's just, I guess it's kind of anxiety provoking for me, because usually when we're watching the show, at least the way it looks is relatable. I hear words and hear sentiments and I feel like it's genuine. Whereas with this guy, there's all these words and I'm like, and when we're faced with people that have that incongruity, it can be anxiety provoking because we wonder, are we being gaslit? Are we being lied to? Are we being harmed? Are we being tricked? Are we being manipulated? If we can't bank on them to be truthful or authentic with us, what else does that mean? Can we trust anyone? It can be dysregulating. I think maybe that's what I'm going through because I don't know why I'm focusing on it so much. And I want to emphasize, I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm watching a two-dimensional screen, edited, no idea. He could be the most genuine person on the planet. But there's something odd, which is fine.
Down to this thing. All right. Well,
You're
hey,
just so sweet.
go get some sleep. Tell him to take you home, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, I'm gonna
The other thing, I don't know if I showed this, but at the very beginning of the date, he's like, I just like you so much that if you said you wanted to leave this date and just go home and relax, I'd be totally fine with that. Okay, on one hand, on the surface, that's nice, but usually they're clamoring to see each other. And then we see her looking at the camera, which isn't typical. Now maybe she's just looking at the direction, but to leave that in the edit makes you wonder if both of them are fake and the editors know that and they're trying. I don't know, but yeah, there doesn't seem to be the oomph that we would see. Like we've already seen a couple couples get engaged. Allie and Anton and Madison and Joe, at least Madison, but Joe too. There's something kind of Nick-ish about Joe, but I don't know.
be like, my boyfriend said you have to take me home. Cutie pie.
Good night, babe. Good night, girlfriend.
Good night, Angel.
And he says girlfriend, she says boyfriend. It just feels like the way 12-year-olds, I don't know, I'll stop.
I really like you.
Aw.
I almost said something.
Save it.
And you're falling too. I can't waste another minute alone. I'll fall for you.
Now, watch that this couple is the most, I can't imagine that they would be the most beloved couple on the show, but maybe third most beloved couple. And I'm just being a complete dick about this whole thing. I guess the reason why I'm talking about it is it's my genuine reaction, but maybe it is something to reflect on for all of us about congruity and about other people and the way they make us feel. Now, some people inadvertently make other people feel anxious. They'll be inadvertently incongruous. And sometimes that's related to trauma. Sometimes it's just related to the way they are. Sometimes it's because they come from another culture and there's just different ideas about how you communicate. So we can all watch this, or I can anyway, and we can reflect on that and just think about that. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.